Grants, a world of possibilities. With somewhere between $50 and $80 billion worth of grants available in Australia, the opportunities for a grant are extensive. Here is a summary of the kinds of grants available. Let's start with ageing, also known as seniors grants. Grants for older people come in all sorts of guises. Council, state and federal grants focus on the health and well-being of seniors. The Community Visiting Scheme is an example of a grant for volunteers to visit older people either in aged care centres or in their own homes. Grants also exist for alleviating poverty and fostering social inclusion. The arts. Arts are funded by governments at all levels, as well as philanthropic organisations. There is a dedicated body in every state, as well as Arts Australia. Local, regional and national projects are encouraged, including internships and international fellowships. Arts grants are competitive, and applications are scrutinised by your arts peers. In addition to the art forms, grants are also available for film, radio and TV production. Business. Grants are available for business growth, projects that lead to local employment and increased tourism and export opportunities. Infrastructure grants, research and development grants, business mentoring and export marketing grants also increase opportunities for businesses to grow. Capacity building. Are you looking for funding for a strategic or business plan? Do you want to grow? Do you need to train your staff? What about your systems? Are they in need of updating? Are your policies and procedures current? Are you wanting to develop new partnerships? From time to time, grants become available for not-for-profits to build their internal capacity, whilst businesses in growth mode are also given assistance with their business plans. Capital infrastructure. Occasionally, funding becomes available for capital infrastructure projects for community, sports, business and education facilities. In most cases, funding will not extend to purchase of land and buildings. Proof of tenure of for at least 5 years and application for permits is required. Projects must be ready to go. Cultural diversity. Cultural diversity grants are available to create harmony and social cohesion, as well as to celebrate and share cultural traditions. The underlying focus is to deliver projects and events that open up cultural groups to the wider community. Grants are also available to prevent radicalisation and extremist behaviours that do not reflect Australian values. Education. Education grants are available through federal, state and independent school sources. Local government also has grants for early childhood programs. Education grants extend into health and well-being and innovation, areas that philanthropic trusts also support. Environment and sustainability. Green issues are covered at all levels of government and in philanthropic grants. There are grants for land care, environment, rivers and waterways, coastal, flora and fauna, research and development. Funding is also available for bushfire and flood affected areas, as well as the impact of drought and climate change. Equipment grants. The purchase of equipment gets 2 bites at the cherry. There are dedicated grants for equipment and technology resources, but also equipment is normally counted as eligible expenditure for projects. Dedicated equipment grants may cover areas such as sport, business innovation, volunteering and more. Some funders will consider equipment such as mobile kitchens, families and young people. Funding is available for projects that support families and young people experiencing poverty and social exclusion. Areas of focus include family violence, youth disengagement, homelessness and financial literacy. A good starting point for applying for any grant is to look up your local council health and wellbeing plans for ideas of local needs. Festivals and events grants. Council, state and federal governments contribute to funding festivals and events throughout the year. These can be to celebrate cultural days, historic events, diversity, art, business expos and tourism, to name but a few examples. Applications must be able to demonstrate how these events create an outcome, such as cohesion, address social issues, or lead to business or tourism growth, for example. Be aware that funding granted for community events may not be as much as you applied for. Health and wellbeing. Councils have health and wellbeing plans that identify priority needs within communities. Health and wellbeing grants are available at all levels of government and philanthropics, including funders just focusing on this area. Health and wellbeing covers a multitude of everyday experiences such as diet, physical fitness, alcohol consumption and mental health. Sport and recreation. Just about every sport is represented by grants, whether they are specific to the sporting activity or statewide support. Grants available include capital infrastructure, uniforms, equipment, travel costs, strategic planning, and build the skills of committees and volunteers. Training for employment. Grants are available from states and federal government to assist with transitioning people into jobs. A primary focus is on young people, especially those aged between 15 and 25 years who have disengaged from school. Funds are available to assist with the cost of training. In addition, funding is available to teach people English and employment skills for recent arrivals to find employment in Australia. Volunteering. Volunteers are valued contributors to society. The federal government acknowledges volunteers through its annual Volunteers Grant, which provides support to organisations that directly benefits the volunteers within, for example, training, resources and travel costs. Other grants acknowledge volunteers and their role in community inclusion, for example, the Community Visitor Scheme. For examples of potential grants, download Grants, A World of Possibilities from the communityentrepreneur.com or contact us at bit.ly/TCE booking to find out what to do next.